Bring up the picture, if you will, guys. Bring up the picture. I want to do a little Hebrew study with you for a moment. There's only one primary word in the Old Testament in the Hebrew for future. It's the word harit. It's one of those words you got to kind of breathe funny to say the first consonant. And literally it means that which is behind you. Now, usually when we think about the future, we think about what's in front of us, right? I'm driving down the road. My future, where I'm heading is in front of my nose. It's down the road. In Hebrew culture, in the Hebrew language, it's what's behind you, and you are traveling into it. The word picture is of someone rowing a boat down a stream, all right? Where you're going is behind you because you're rowing facing backwards. In Hebrew way of thinking, you were backing into your future. You didn't see it, so obviously it should be behind your head. If it's unknown to you, why would you picture it in front of you? No, it's behind you, and you're moving into it backwards, rowing backwards. Now, if you're rowing backwards, you can't put your mind on a mark in front of you to say that's where I'm heading, to navigate. If you're rowing backwards, you have to navigate by where you have been. By looking at your wake, by looking at the buoys, by looking at the markers, by looking at the terrain around you. And I line up by that. Remember I told you why all those genealogies and why the Abrahams, Isaacs, and Jacobs? Here's how the Hebrews thought about the future. I'm backing into the future. I'm making progress. I can't see what's behind me. It's unknown to me. It's opaque to me. But how I need to align my life so I arrive at the right destination in the future is I align my life by all that's going on before me. I look back and I see all the markers along the way. God, you were faithful to me then. God, you spared me there. You delivered me there. You healed me there. And Lord, if I align my faith and align my trust by the record I see in the wake of my past, if I do that, I'm going to arrive at the right destination in the future. And then in Hebrew thought, that's extended all the way back to my ancestors, all the way back through my genealogies in one unbroken community continuum. And I go all the way back through my tribal identity, and I go all the way back through my ancestors, and I go all the way back through the Isaacs and the Jacobs and the Abrahams, and even beyond that, we jump that beginning, going on back to the descendants of Noah. And you remember Noah had 3 sons, correct? Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel, and then Seth is born. It's from the Sethites, the line of Seth, comes the righteous testimony of God. Through Cain becomes debauchery and disaffection and disobedience to God. So for a Jew, I'm rowing backwards. I don't know what's back there, but I look back and I see the markers of God's faithfulness in my life. I see the faithfulness of God in the lives of my ancestors that is now recorded for us in the Word of God. And all I need do, as I think about the fearful things of what's out there, is I align my life by where I see God has been faithful to me and my ancestors since the very beginning of his record of humanity. That's why you and I need to come to this book and align ourselves by God's faithfulness herein revealed. That's why his moments of faithfulness and involvement in our lives, we need to mark them as markers along the line. I mean, if this is scary behind me, I need to look back. Well, Lord, you took care of me there, and you took care of me there, and you provided for me there, and you took care of him, and her, and her, and him. I think whatever the next row brings me to, you're going to be in control of that. That's how we align ourselves in trust in God, because we have a relationship with him both individually and in this great testimony, this continuum of faith. So, take the next step in your relationship. Take the next step in your relationship. And the next step in your relationship is marking well the buoys along the river as you row into your future. Mark them well.